O'Donnell, originally from Rhode Island. Did my undergraduate work there in graphic design and photography. Spent 5 years in Seattle working at photo labs, showing at a gallery, wondering if I'd ever go to grad school. Ended up going to the School of the Art Institute of Chicago and staying in Chicago, taught at SAIC and Loyola for 14 years or so before coming to ISU in 2001, and I just retired after 18 years at ISU. Double vision is started pretty simply with the notion that there are two realities coexisting, and I talk about this in my statement, certainly rooted in early geometry lessons, and having the teacher explain that anything you might glance at in the classroom that might be a straight line, a square, a circle, was to a degree demoted when considered against the forms, the ideals, the mental construct of line was something that was infinite, something that was so far superior, there was that slant, so far superior to the rudimentary molding running there between the ceiling and the wall, that yeah, it was a straight line, but oh my, the actual straight line, the line, capital letters, was infinite and perfect. And I liked very much the fact that I was prone, after being introduced to these ideas, I was prone to superimposing what I call a template, as it were, a mental template, on, you know, the basketball is flawed. Wait, it's not flawed if I see it as being the perfect sphere, etc. And I like very much the connotations. Not only is there a comparison going on between real and ideal, there is a really wonderful confusion going on between perception and knowledge. So I know what the perfect sphere is, and I can see what the basketball is. And to have those merge in that double vision is pretty wonderful. Well, first I have to say that I have given myself license to step away from the seminal idea of the body of work to say, well, yeah, okay, maybe I do impose a mental construct. I've got a template in mind, but the superimposition of one over the other in my photographs is not necessary, is not essential. I like actually the fact that if exposed to the full body of work, or a good number of pictures, an average viewer might start to do with the photographs that don't have any visible scrim template, start to do what I'm talking about. You know, it's just, go ahead viewer, just the invitation is you do it now too, because you've been doing it your whole life. So yeah, does that make sense? I want there to be, in addition to an execution of the idea, let's call it the magic. I'll just keep talking about magic, right? The magic of the quality of light, the play of light on the subjects. I want them to be, to a degree, photographs that transport the viewer out of the mundane, because that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the innocent glance, let's say, and then the double take. For double vision. The double take meaning I was about to perceive something as being an element in the mundane reality of my daily existence, and I'm struck by something. So yeah, I want beauty. I want glowing light. I want the considerably pedestrian trappings of my house. It's real important to me, by the way, that I shoot in my house. I'm the test subject, you know. It's like I make my way through this house each day. Oh, and by the way, it's where I shoot. So I do this literally. I will glance at something that I take for granted. It's my house. And we'll say, huh, I will do the double take, and I'll probably go get a prop or the camera and come back and revisit that corner of the kitchen that I have seen thousands of times. I like the suggestion, if successful, a photograph can induce in the viewer a sense that if enough attention is paid, then the pedestrian, the mundane elements of daily life can be seen to be magical, can be transformed. And I choose to call it a lie, and I tack on the word noble, the adjective important, because I want to engage in a lie for a higher truth. You know, I want to suggest that it's everywhere all the time. Yeah. So one of the things that I've thought about with the double vision work is that there seem to me to be two aspects to the coexistence of ideal and real. One of them simply that strange notion that there is, in the mind's eye, some bit of perfection, and as I've said, that template that's superimposed on the actual perceived through vision. And then equally involving to me has been the sad, time-worn quality of the real, the thing that's perceived through the eyes. By comparison, no competition on a certain level, right? By comparison to the ideal, that is always going to be perfect because it's in the mind's eye. So I really like the initial humbling of the real, and then its elevation to something noble and wonderful in its, you might argue, unfair tussle with the ideal. I mean, I certainly thought about this idea a whole lot when I was working on the Many Rooms body of work. You know, I mean, I'm working in that rusted tin dollhouse that's supposedly the heavenly home. You know, this is the afterlife. You know, I mean, I was really playing with ideas that I had long ago rejected, having been brought up a Roman Catholic, but it was just, this is very strange and interesting to play with this, and let's let this dollhouse be the place. Well, the sad little plastic furniture and again, the rust on the walls always struck me as being poignant and more powerful than perfection. I've also thought a whole lot about the stress that we place on seeing, on vision, as proof of the true. I mean, when we say that I understand something, we're likely as not to say, oh, I see. Really? That's it? I mean, I've thought plenty that miracles and magic are based on the conflict between what I know, quote unquote, and what I see. Yeah, I mean, those are the ideas that I've been thinking about recently when it comes to the comparison between those real and ideal. This is my community. I've been here for 18 years, living here for 11, and so many of my colleagues and I spent those 18 years together, or many of those 18 years, meeting each other in the hall, having a little chat, and then going on about our business, knowing what each other did, but it seemed to me sometimes years could pass before we'd see each other's work in some context other than passing one or two images. So I'm putting most of the stress here on ISU. It's what brought me to town. So no offense to anyone who's not affiliated with ISU, but first and foremost, it always has been interesting to me when we see each other's work finally. The research colloquium that was started up by Andreas Fischer and Kendra Pates was such a revelation to me, because finally, for an hour each time, I'd get to see a colleague's work in great detail and hear them talk about the motivating factors, and just loved it. So here I am, having retired in the spring, to a degree saying to certainly the larger Bloomington Normal community, here's what I'm up to. This is what's happening now. Hello again.